Hey everyone, Selwyn here for Wynn Strength. Today's video will be the 18-month to 2-year review of owning the Titan Fitness Upright Farmer handles. If you want to check out the unboxing and my first impressions of the video, I'll leave a link right here. But this will be after about 18 months to 2 years worth of use, looking at maybe once a week use on average over the last 2 years. Nothing heavy, no real heavy carrying. I think I maxed out around 215 pounds per arm. These are rated for a lot more than that, so we're not really looking at its durability in terms of how much weight can it carry, because it is far stronger than I am. I was just looking at how they've held up over the last couple of years, and you notice a significant amount of rust has accumulated on the inside as well as on the welds and the posts. And that just mainly comes from the fact that they did get stored outside probably for about 6 months. Probably 3 to 4 months of those were uncovered, just because when we were building the shed, I did not plan ahead and didn't have enough tarps to properly cover these. They're pretty big, so the tarp that I did have wasn't really suitable for covering it. So that's why you'll see a lot of rust there, but maybe that's indicative of the welds and where it is, but it's mainly where the water would have pooled up on the feet and on the top of the surface there, which kind of makes sense. They're not really designed to be used outdoors, but hey, even if you do, they're still pretty sturdy and can still hold a significant amount of weight. And don't forget, I've got some links below, so check out Titan Fitness so you can grab a pair of these upright farmer handles. So in terms of how much I use them, I wouldn't be a heavy user of the farmer handles. I like to include them in different phases of training, so I'd use them probably once a week for 2 to 3 month stretches at a time, and then they're probably kept away in the shed for the other 2 to 3 months when they're not being cycled in and out of. I'm not a competitive strongman, so these don't get used up probably as much as they would at a commercial gym. For 2 years of use, there's not really any big signs of wear and tear. You'll see the post have some scratching from loading the plates on and off. Nothing really structural to talk about from that amount of use. So I think structurally, these things are going to hold up really, really well. When I do use them, it's either on some dirt or some blacktop, and I do try to set them down gently on the blacktop, mainly because I feel like dropping metal on blacktop is probably going to damage to some degree, just repeatedly. But there have been times where they've slipped out of my hands and dropped on the blacktop there, and there's no significant damage to any of them. The reason I went for the uprights is because it protects the weight plates, and it does have feet on the bottom of the farmer handles, obviously to stop it from tipping, but also to protect the bar itself and to add a little bit more cushion, just because it's designed to take some abuse there. Whereas if you have the regular farmer handles where the weight plates are vertical, if you drop that, you're going to be potentially damaging your weight plates. I personally don't like damaging the weight plates. I would prefer to buy something that is specifically designed to get dropped on the ground. So I would say, light to medium use over the last 2 years will hold up very well. You could probably accelerate that too if you're using it really heavily. Maybe look at this as a 6-month review if that's how much you're going to be using it. So now it just comes to the structure of it, or the design. It uses, I believe, 11 gauge steel and a 3x3 post. I think it's the same steel that they would use for their X3 racks back in the day. I think they've updated some of the design, so there's no holes on this side. There's only holes on the opposite side, and that allows you to connect some horizontal beams to create a frame carry if you want. I didn't get that option, so I think you could just get a couple of 2x4s and put them over the posts and figure something out that way if you really wanted to. But I think the design of them is really, really nice. It comes with adjustable height handles. I generally like leaving them on this one height just because that's what I've become used to. So the one thing I'm not a fan of is the D hooks that come with them that allow you to adjust the height. Just because, I'll zoom in now, but just because it does stick out a fair amount of the handles, and I mean, even just walking with your hands by your side, most people walk pretty much with their hands brushing their thighs. So anything sticking out from whatever you're carrying is going to brush around your thighs. And when the weights on this start to get heavy, it becomes a hindrance rather than, something you don't really notice, because it does stick out. And no matter which way you put the pin in, there's a significant amount of obtrusion from either side, so you can't really win either way. The solution for that I found is to just use one of the short bolts that I had lying around from when I had some accessories that I bought for the rack. Obviously, the shorter the bolt you can get, so it fits nice and flushly. But at the very least, the head of the bolt is going to be really nice and flush with the handles. And this is probably the one thing I'd recommend you do if you don't have extra bolts from buying a rack or whatever it is. Go to the hardware store and just bring this with you. Mark the width of it, and then just find a bolt that fits perfectly around this handle, and it pretty much makes this a perfect system. The only downside to that is it makes it more difficult to adjust these quickly, the handle height. But if you're not adjusting them that often, then it doesn't really matter. And I think the benefit of not having the handle of this brush your thigh whenever you're walking is far better than the speed at which you really want to change the height of the handles. So the knurling on the handles is quite nice. It's more of a passive knurling, I would say. Nothing like a Rogue or higher power bar. It's a lot smoother than that, but it's definitely more aggressive than, say, the other barbell that I have, a Cat OB86. So I'd say it's like, medium passive knurling. It's not going to chew your hands up, but it does provide enough friction so that you can just use chalk and get away with that. When it does start to slip, that's probably a sign of weaker grip rather than the knurling being an issue. The handle thickness is nice. It's not as thin as a regular barbell, but it's not as fat as, like, say, an axle barbell. So again, that nice middle ground, which is good for farmer handles. If you are training specifically for a competition that does have fat grip handles, you might want to buy some fat grips online and put those around here just to get more specific training. But if you're just general strength training, this is going to be a great balance between having the handle too thin and too thick. I will leave some links below so you can check this out on Titan. If you are looking for upright farmer handles, there's not too many available out there on the market. I'll put a spreadsheet on the screen now which kind of compares all the ones available to you. I think the Titan farmer handles pretty much represent the best value you're going to find online in terms of, how much it costs. Is one of the cheapest handles you can buy in terms of having the upright posts. Now, if you want to just get the regular flat farmer handles where the weights are vertical, if you're only looking at using the farmer handles inside of a gym and you have bumper plates, then that's going to be perfect. You're not going to really worry about damaging those bumper plates because you're probably dropping them on carpet, or at the very least, like, not dirt or bitumen or blacktop. Whereas if you're going to be using these outside, I would highly recommend getting the uprights just because you want to protect those plates. So I did weigh these out, each of them on a scale. One of them is 43.4 pounds and the other is 44.4 pounds. I believe they're sold as 45-pound handles. The nice thing with having a 45-pound handle is it makes plate math really easy. You're not having to do like adding 63 to all your plates and being right near 45. It's kind of perfect. That's one great thing about this is it make you just like you're just loading up a regular barbell. You don't have to do any extra math. We all know how to, add those 45-pound plates up. So like I said before, I think the Titan Fitness handles are pretty much the best value for money you can find in the market. Yes, you can buy more expensive ones, but if you're sticking to a budget, I think this is probably the cheaper end of the spectrum, and you're going to get a lot of use out of it. They're going to last a long time. The welds are pretty solid. I've dropped them on blacktop, on dirt. I haven't been gentle with them, but I also haven't been careless with them, and they're holding up nice. They're holding up very nicely, and I think they're going to survive for many, many more years to come. I don't think there'll be any complaints. If you buy this, don't hesitate to jump on the Titan Fitness website and grab a pair if that's what you're looking for. It does have all of the regular rack poles on the side. I'm not too sure what to do with them yet, but that is an option if you have some cool imagination, come up with some cool DIY projects to do with this. I haven't come up with anything like that yet, so in the future you might see a video where I figure that out. Or if you have any cool ideas of what you've done with your farmer handle, post on the side, let me know in the comments below. So now to the overall rating and review, I think 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm dropping it a point is because of the weird detent pins that they include, but that is super easily rectified by just going to the hardware store and getting some bolts. So that's the only reason you're getting that 1 point. Otherwise, it's pretty much a great piece of equipment. It's affordable, it's durable, it's well made, it does everything it says it's going to do, and it weighs pretty good for plate math. This has been Selwyn from Wynn Strength, and remember, a better life through strength. And don't forget, I've got some links below, so check out Titan Fitness so you can grab a pair of these upright farmer handles.